Greetings and peace. My name is Umi. Thank you guys for tuning into my YouTube channel. And in this particular video, I will be just sharing a few insights pertaining to Capricorn Rising or Capricorn Ascendant. Remember to keep in mind that you have to consider your full natal chart. So before you can establish any conclusive idea about a person or yourself, you definitely want to consider aspects and other factors would play a part in that. So, and looking at Pisces Rising, keep in mind it is a water sign. It's also mutable, so it's changeable. It's not fixed. It's not a fixed sign. And for the most part, this may pose a bit of a challenge for Pisces Rising because our ascendant sign is typically the mask that we wear for the world or how other people perceive us. That could be it could change so much for you to the point where you maybe you don't seem stable or you don't seem consistent. So I'm just going to share a little bit of the negatives associated with the Pisces ascendant and then the more positive. So when you don't seem a bit stable, it could be you don't seem mentally stable, or it could seem that you just aren't able to have a firm grip on your reality, or you get a job, but there are certain things that you don't agree with, and instead of recognizing that this is a part of life, or sometimes you have to deal with these type of people, or instead of taking into consideration more practical views, you may find yourself constantly changing and moving around, or being easily influenced by others. So that sensitivity you have to other people's energy and other people's moods can just put you in a vulnerable place where stability can seem a bit elusive, just kind of always out of reach. So if you have more stabilizing planets in your chart to support you, or you have other people in your circle that support you or help you to stay grounded and practical, then it won't be as challenging for you. But if you're heavily influenced by that Piscean energy, you can certainly be around people who tend to kind of take advantage of you, because you want to sacrifice. And I shared a video about that on Pisces the Martyr, that it's just like an innate part of who you are, where you find yourself wanting to sacrifice your time, or you might open your home up to people, or you can sympathize with people too readily before you really have some experiences that can shake you out of that mindset that it's not okay to just let everybody in. It's not okay to tell your business to everybody, or to go off on these sort of fantasy tangents with people and expect them to really resonate. So you might open up to someone and you're telling them all this, spiritual stuff, or this fantasy you've had about our world and life, and they may pretend to be listening just to gain your good side, and then they need something from you. So with that, Pisces, you have to make sure you're actually tapping into your intuition. With any water sign, your intuition and inner reflection and psychic gifts, these are usually associated with the water element. But if you're not doing the necessary work to really tune into your intuition, or you're carrying around a lot of baggage and trauma from your life, then you won't really be able to, your radar won't pick up on when people are, have bad intentions toward you. So you have to be sensible. You have to recognize that you are a sensitive being just by nature, and people seeing that you're sensitive, again, can just sometimes almost make you like prey for some people. So you shouldn't shut out that sensitivity. I mean, it's a good thing in a way, because a lot of people are so rigid and tough and just no nonsense attitude about life, and we need that balance in the world. And I think Pisces ascendant can really project that sensitivity and the empathy that we need in our world. Another negative, I would say, is just be mindful of habits that you form to escape this reality. That's just common to Pisces. When it comes to the escapist behaviors that are common to Pisces, it's because this reality doesn't really embrace you the way that you'd like. So you tend to look for things to help you to just feel free, to feel like you can drift into that realm that you've created for yourself that just separates you from the mundane, the responsibilities, the grounded conversations that just feel a bit limiting and constricting for you. So be careful about drug use, be careful about your alcohol consumption. And this is particularly true with any water sign. With Cancer, they can tend to eat more so than drink a lot. But with Scorpio and Pisces, there's definitely that caution, because you guys can just tend to really get caught up in your emotions and your feelings to the point where you want to escape more so mentally than just like eating. That's like a temporary fix for some people, or they can just eat chocolate and eat junk. You actually want to like lift off. So you might get involved into certain narcotics or alcohol abuse that can be very damaging to you, and you need people around you who care about you enough to stop you from doing that. You don't want to keep friends that just want to take trips all the time with you and you guys space out, So if you're a Pisces rising or ascendant, and you've already gone through that phase in life, or you're in that phase now, it's certainly you can make the choice to just let that go, to get free from that need to escape, so that way you can actually really play an integral part in this world, and in your family's lives and your friends' lives, because we need you. And you can sometimes feel like you're a burden to people, or they're not really trying to hear you, like your ideas, or they might blow you off because they don't understand how you communicate your ideas. So that's one of those things that can be frustrating for you, is that you feel like people maybe don't fully understand who you are, but don't change who you are or conform for others, which you can tend to do sometimes. You can get in an environment and you can kind of, if you walked in with a blue shirt and everyone's wearing green, it's like you change to a green shirt. Not literally, but just I'm speaking in terms of your mood. Like you change, or you can shift with the way the mood of the room or how everyone's feeling. And that could be, compromising what feels true for you. Or maybe you haven't really discovered what feels true for you. So if you're a Pisces rising, you may kind of be on that path of self-discovery, but you don't want to discover yourself through drugs. You don't want to discover yourself through bad associations with people. So I can't stress enough the need to be careful of the company you keep, because you are so free-hearted at times, and you'll give someone the shirt off your back if other placements in your chart don't kind of safeguard you from that. You can find yourself losing a lot, losing friendships and relationships. Maybe if you're in a committed relationship with somebody, but you think it's okay to give your time and attention to, this other person, it can make your partner feel a bit excluded, or it can make your partner feel like you're too generous. We have bills, we have a family, we have these responsibilities, and you're constantly running to the rescue of other people. Something else you want to keep in mind is it's very important for you to establish boundaries. The challenge with you establishing boundaries is that you don't want to hurt people's feelings. And that's not a good thing, because in life you're gonna have to hurt people's feelings sometimes for your own survival and to protect yourself. It's not that you have to, lash out at people. But if you don't establish boundaries, then people are going to take advantage of you. And those boundaries, whether it's boundaries with your drug use or alcohol consumption, or boundaries with the friends that you have, boundaries with your body. I had a young lady who had Pisces rising, and for some reason she just always felt she had to give of herself, like literally of her body, as a way to thank people for doing something for her. Like there was a guy that it was her male friend, I'm assuming they were just friends, and she needed him to like work on her car. So she felt kind of like obligated, or her way of saying thank you was to be, you know, to have sex with him. And it really wasn't what she wanted. I'm not saying all Pisces are like naive and you do things like this, but I know that you can tend to lack boundaries and feel that, oh, well, I don't want this person to think that I don't like them, or I don't want this person to think that I didn't appreciate it, or, you know, I'll give this person my last little bit of money just so they know that I care about their situation. And before you know it, you're constantly give. So it's not every Pisces ascendant. It's just these attitudes and behaviors can come up. They can surface from time to time where you're not safeguarding yourself in the best possible way. So some of the positives definitely associated with Pisces ascendant is that you guys are super creative. If you have taken the time to hone in on your creative abilities, you may even surprise yourself with just how much you can pull from the ethereal realm, these pretty creative things, whether it's painting, or you're into jewelry making, or you make music, you make beats, you do hair, you do makeup. You may have some pretty unique creative gifts too. May not be something that is expected, you know, like you're a great chef. It could just be something unique, like you may take pieces of scrap carpet and make these awesome murals for people. So you have this creative gift that you definitely have to share with the world, because it represents, you know, with Pisces being the 12th sign and representing a culmination of all the other zodiac signs, and it kind of has you all over the place sometimes in your mind. Your thinking is a bit scattered, and some of the visions and insights you're getting, you're not always sure what's real, and it could be difficult to channel that. Yes, so my phone keeps ringing, interrupting my video. But so yes, as you find a way to channel that creative mind of yours, this can also help you to kind of fine tune illusions. It's almost as if you can take out time to do some creative outlet, or just kind of escape a little bit through something healthy and wholesome, then you're more likely to distinguish between the illusions that are associated with Neptune, which is the ruler of Pisces ascendant. Like Neptune is your ruler in your natal chart. So with Neptune comes a lot of that sort of illusions and fantasies and daydreaming, and you can even tend to, again, talk to people sometimes, and you can be talking, and you won't realize that they're not quite even able to follow all of what you're sharing, or they're not able to really understand or interpret how you perceive things. So you may perceive things one way, but that may not even be the reality. And this is why sometimes Pisces can be associated with like dishonesty, you know, that you may say something, or you may even believe something to be true, even though it blatantly isn't, but for some reason it may be a bit elusive. Like you may believe it to be true, or just don't think much about what you're actually saying, and other people will perceive that as you could be dishonest, or that you're lying about something, you know. And it could be something simple, like you telling someone that you text them X, Y, and Z, and they're like scrolling through their phone like, I never got it, and you're like, yeah, I did text you and you responded, and they're like, I didn't respond, what are you talking about? But for some reason you might actually believe what you're saying. So again, that's not everybody. It's just sometimes you can misread a situation, or not, you yourself may not even fully understand what's real or what's true. Interesting is that you almost have this childlike nature about you. Not that you're childish, or you necessarily act like a child that turns people off. It's just you might be interested in doing something a bit unique that to other people, like let's say you just enjoy in your free time, like climbing trees, or like reading comic books, or collecting like caricatures from some animation, or you can do things that kind of capture your inner child. And you know, it may just maybe something that's on the side, or your hobby, or like people wouldn't know unless they came into your apartment, that like you have all of the Napoleon Dynamite characters and little statues or something, and it could have this sort of childlike appeal about it. But you're magnetic for that reason, because people can recognize your compassionate nature. The way children are just kind of, for the most part, children are open to engaging with people, just kind of openly talking to people or engaging with people. You can tend to have that aura about you that attracts people, or they might just want to engage in conversation because you're pretty sociable. You like to make people laugh. You want people to feel comfortable. Excuse me. You're compassionate to the point where people will trust you. The problem again is just making sure you establish boundaries and make sure you can trust them before you put yourself in a vulnerable situation. But just continue to project that energy of love and gentleness and compassion that's associated with Pisces. But be careful about your psychic vulnerabilities as well. So not just letting people in your house or being doing all these handouts, but you can be susceptible to the mind and psychic attacks and damaging thought patterns, because if you're around people, or you're in situations or exposed to people who have ill will or ill intentions, or who are doing something that you don't agree with, it can really bother you for a while, and you can become restless. You can be you can just have these very unpleasant thoughts that can make you even self-destructive. And psychic attacks can affect people in different ways, but just making sure you're safeguarding your mental faculties so that you're not exposing your mind. And because Neptune, it kind of rules that part of our subconscious, just the part where we daydream and we fantasize and we think about our future, or we drift off into outside of just the physical world. That part of you is just kind of always open to receive. That's what makes you receptive, and that also makes you a bit passive. And because of that, that's when those psychic attacks can really burden you. So depending on your life, what direction your life is going, then you can certainly find yourself in positions of helping and healing people if that's something that you desire to do. If it's not healing in the conventional sense of you want to do, be a doctor or nurse, or work with veterans or something like that, you may do some other non-conventional forms of healing where you like Reiki, or just massaging people's hands, or doing therapy sessions with people, or you might make these healing bracelets or something like that. And if you haven't considered that in your Pisces rising or ascendant, that may actually resonate with you. If you haven't considered doing something like that, where let's say you just donate some type of little healing bracelets to a children's hospital or something. So if you do have this desire to help people and give, and you're just not sure who to trust, or you've been burned so many times, then find ways to do it where you're working through some type of institution or a place where that these people genuinely need and appreciate your help. So you may at times feel like people don't appreciate me. They don't appreciate what I do. I'm going to stop opening up to people, or I'm going to stop. The world can start to make you want to shut down in a way. And that's just the reality that, the world can be cold. But you have to know who you are, and you have to accept that you are sensitive to people and the needs of people, and you're sensitive psychically. So tap into those gifts and fine tune your intuition in a way that's going to just kind of guide you through life. But again, you're fun, you're funny, you're creative. You have this sort of aura of mystique about you, because the rising sign, it does contribute to our physical features. So with Pisces ascendant rising, you also have to make sure you're just getting your health checked out, because it does deal with illusions. Sometimes you may have this illusion that you are, let's say, healthier than you are, or the relationship you're in is healthier than it actually is, or you may have this illusion about your physical stamina and put yourself in a position where that you realize you're not in as good a shape as you thought you were. So just depending on your age, you know, just kind of get those checkups in case there's something hidden to do with the health, because it's not going to be as prominent as with other signs where health issues can manifest more readily. So that's about all that I can think of at the moment associated with Pisces rising. You know, make sure you're having a healthy sex life, because people can tend to be drawn to you because you can sense what they might need sexually, or really like to get into like role playing or fulfilling other people's fantasies. But just make sure it's what you want as well, and that you're not being taken advantage of sexually either. Because Pisces, you're not necessarily the most sexual sign of the zodiac in terms of like you're outwardly, you know, trying to be on the scene, but you can attract people and have these sort of hidden affairs sometimes, or these like just this sort of secret fantasy associated with your sex life, and you want to experience a fantasy with another person, or you want to fulfill their fantasy. So just, you know, again, exercise caution where need be in terms of that. Continue to drink plenty of water and keep that water element cleansed so that you're able to you know, to just stay in a good positive place with that energy, with that water energy, and everything is flowing for you. Because once you're not able to, and then I'm gonna shut up. once you experience some type of blockage in terms of the flow of your ideas, or those ideas go from being, you know, creative and youthful and compassionate to you know, unpleasant thoughts, or just it should be an indication that you need to do some purging and you need to cleanse yourself. The water element has to be cleansed and purified more than any other sign. If you're a water sign, and you have water rising, and your moon sign is in a water sign, then you definitely have to do that. And this is also why you got to make sure you're not drinking too much alcohol or sodas and these types of things. Make sure you're getting plenty of water, or you're spending time in and around water, or you have a little water fountain in your room, or just doing something where the water element is helping to kind of cleanse your psyche so you can be the best Piscean rising you can be. So definitely share your thoughts, comments, or your experience with this Piscean energy as your rising sign. And if there's something I left out, do share so you can assist someone else. But yeah, thank you for tuning in. And until next time, peace.